This is the Thompson machine gun reassembly by Asoftech.dk. First I add the two small plastic selectors. The back is for the safety and the front is for selecting between semi and full auto. The plastic rod that I connect here is also for the safety. So when you switch on the safety, the small back plastic selector pushes the plastic forward and prevents the trigger from moving. It can be a little bit tricky to put in the gearbox, but make sure you wiggle it all the way in. Make sure that you don't crush the wires in the process. The battery connector goes through the hole in the back where the stock will be attached later. The motor attaches at the bottom of the gearbox, and the motor pinion gear goes inside the gearbox so that it touches the bevel gear. The motor is installed with two screws. The motor wires is also attached. Remember to make sure you connect the positive to the positive side and the negative to the negative side. Otherwise the gun will spin the wrong way round and it will ruin your gearbox. And now I put on the handle and attaches it to the motor with a screw at the bottom. Now it's time to install the selector levers. The forward selector lever is for selecting between full auto and semi-auto. The back one is for turning on and off the safety. On the inside of the selector lever there is a small white plastic pin with a spring underneath that make the clicking noise when you turn it around. So when you have the selector in the right place, it will make a small click and snap in place. First the spring goes inside, push it in, and then the small white plastic tab. The small part of the tab goes in first, so it goes down the spring, and the thick one should extend outside the selector house. Like so. To install the two selectors, you have two plastic rods with screws attached. The screws go all the way down the plastic and outside the other side of the plastic rod. You place them, align them correctly, and screw in the screw. And you do that for both the rod in the back for the safety and in the front for the full auto, semi-auto selector. It's a lot easier to screw in if you use a pair of pliers to hold it down while you screw it in. Now it's time to put in the selector levers on top of the plastic rods. Make sure that the small tab with the spring behind is in place when you attach it. And be careful, the small tab has a tendency to drop out and be lost. So make sure you don't drop it. And to make sure it's attached, you screw in the small set screw underneath the lever arm. Make sure you tighten it so it doesn't come loose, but don't force it, because you don't want to break the plastic rod that the set screw pushes into. At this point, do yourself a favor and test out the gun. Even connecting the battery and making sure the gun fires, so you don't have to disassemble the whole gun again if something is not right. I often don't tighten the screws until I'm sure that I don't want to detach them again. Now it's just a matter of fitting the top receiver onto the gearbox. This can be quite tricky. It needs to be aligned perfectly, and in the back there are some small buttons that you have to push in while you press the gearbox forward in the upper receiver. If the buttons are not correctly pushed or the gearbox is not correctly aligned, the gearbox will not slide forward. Now it's time to attach the stock. Inside the stock there's an extension wire. Before you screw in the stock, make sure you connect the extension wire to the gearbox wire, so that you can connect the battery to the gearbox from the back of the stock. When you have made the connection, place the stock in the correct place. When it slides in, turn it upside down and attach the two screws and tighten them. To put on the outer barrel, simply slide it on and screw in the two screws underneath. If you have a handle, you can also attach this at this point. On the top of the outer barrel there is also a set screw that you should screw in after you have put in at least one of the screws. This will fix the outer barrel in place securely. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and check out my website if you want to see the rest of my guides